Good morning, children. Sai Ram. So, let's continue our session that what we had learned in the previous video. So, our lesson will be continued. That is, our chapter name is lesson number 2, components of food. So, let's continue our video in this session. And before that, let's do little revision, recap what we learned in the first video. So children, in the last video, we learned that what does a meal consist of. So meal consists of chapati, rice, dal, some vegetable curries, this, and a lot of preparations of many kinds of vegetables, and in many region and different states, what do they eat, we learned about that also. And we learned that variety of food they consume variety of food they consume in different states, and what do our meal consist of. All these we learned in the first chapter, and the main topic we learned is what do different food contain. So our food mainly consists of some nutrients. So you all remember what are nutrients? Yes, our body needs different substances for doing different things. These substances are called as nutrients. We know that each dish is usually made up of one or more ingredients. So that we get from plants and animals. So these ingredients contain some components that are needed by our body. So these components are called as nutrients. The major nutrients in our food. This also we learned what are the major nutrients. Yes, carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins and minerals. And in addition to that, what does the food contain? Yes, to remember, I have not printed here. So what are the other addition of to this nutrients? What are the other things that our food contains? Yes, it is dietary fibers and water, which are also needed by our body. So children, do all food contain all these nutrients? So yesterday I told you to take a book and pencil and keep it ready, right? So today we are going to do some test. So we are going to find out which nutrients is present in that particular food. So children, do all food contain all these nutrients? So we always have this confusion. Suppose if you eat rice, only rice, then you may be thinking that yes, I'm eating so much rice and I'm very healthy. No, it's not like that. Some food gives some nutrients only. So that is why we have variety in our meals. So with some simple methods, we can test whether the cooked food or a raw ingredients contains one or more of these nutrients. So the test for carbohydrates, proteins and fats are very simple to do as compared to the test for other nutrients. So let us do these tests and record all our observations. In your notebook, you are going to record it. But This test we are just going to imagine. You will just close your eyes and listen to what teacher is saying. You will not close your eyes now when teacher say that time. So now to start this test, so you all like to become a scientist, want to do experiments. Yes, we all like to do experiments. So where do you do this, conduct these experiments? Yes, in the school lab, that is laboratory. We do many experiments. Now you are grown up. So when the school reopens, we will go to the science lab and we do this, we'll perform this experiments, this food test. And as our lessons will proceed and many other experiments we'll do in our school. Now, since the lockdown period, we don't have school, school is not running, we are going to just imagine that we are in the school laboratory and we are going to do the test. But it is a very simple test. Easily you can imagine as what teacher is saying. So children, for carrying out these tests, you will need some solutions. You will need some solutions. So in the laboratory there are many solutions. It is already kept ready by the teachers. So to carry out these tests, you will need some solutions. That is, the first one is iodine solution. The first one is iodine solution, that is also diluted. So a dilute, see the, look at the slide children, a dilute solution of iodine. It can be prepared by adding few drops of tincture iodine to a test tube half filled with water. So iodine may be like a powder content, so you have to put it in a test tube and you have to add few drops of tincture iodine and shake well, so it will become, that iodine solution will become dilute solution of iodine. So that we require. And the next one is copper sulfate solution. So copper sulfate solution can be prepared by dissolving 2 grams of copper sulfate in 100 ml of water. So you need to take 100 ml of water and add only 2 grams of copper sulfate solution. So these all will be doing with the help of teacher. So copper sulfate solution is also ready. And the next one is we need caustic soda. So caustic soda, that is 10 grams of caustic soda dissolved in 100 ml of water makes the required solution of caustic soda. So children, the three things we require, the main things is iodine solution, copper sulfate solution and caustic soda. And apart from this, and we require test tubes, 3 test tubes and the dropper, so what are the things required for conducting the test for the food? We are going to find out which nutrients are present, which components are present in that particular food item. So what are the things required? Iodine solution, copper sulfate solution, caustic soda, then test tubes, then dropper. So the apparatus and chemicals required for this detecting nutrients present in food. So iodine solution, copper sulfate, caustic soda and the dropper. So we have to keep ready all these things. And look at this child. So when the school reopens, you are also going to do the test like how this boy is doing the test. So children, now just close your eyes and just imagine that. Now, yes, are you ready? Have you closed your eyes? Yes. Now your teacher have told you to bring some potatoes, some dry fruits, that is nuts, something like cashew nuts or badam, or and then some gram flour, moong dal. If you bring moong dal, it should be crushed and made into powder, that is gram flour. So your teacher have told you to bring potatoes, then gram flour and some dry fruits, that is nuts. So which nuts? Anything, cashew or badam. So you have stuffed all these things in your bag, and we are taking the bag and entering in the science lab. Yes, children, are you all excited? Yes, to do the test like this boy. Yes, very soon we'll also conduct the test like this boy in our own school lab. Yes, to try these tests, we are going to try it on the cooked food items or the raw ingredients, as I said earlier. So, children, you are not going to taste any of these chemicals. Remember that you are not going to taste any of these chemicals, that is caustic soda, copper sulfate solutions and iodine solution. Nothing you are going to taste, and whatever the test we are going to conduct on that food item, that also you are not going to taste it. This is only for the experiment purpose, only for the testing purpose. So we have to do it very carefully, and always keep it in the mind that not to eat, no trying to eat or taste any of these chemicals. It's very harmful. Yes. So if the required solutions are not available in the ready-made form, so we will make it in our lab. So now just imagine that you all have these solutions, and you can open your eyes now and remove the foodstuffs whatever you have in your bag, and imagine that you are presenting on the table, and just take the plates and present the food items, keep the food items on the table and get ready. So now let us begin by testing different food items to see if they contain carbohydrates. So our first test is, we are going to test whether they contain carbohydrates. There are many types of carbohydrates. The main carbohydrates found in our food are in the form of starch and sugars. So we can easily test these food items. Which food item contains starch? So what you will do is, first write in your notebook, test for starch. Yes, so I told you already to write the dates, heading, everything. So the first test is, write it, test for starch. Yes. Over, children? Yes. Now for this, the things required is dilute iodine solution, then test tube, then dropper. Yes. Now you will write all these three. That is apparatus required. What are things required for conducting this test? Iodine solution, caustic soda, dropper, test tubes. Yes. Now we are going to conduct the test for starch. So here it is, and with a potato. So now take a small quantity of food item or raw ingredient and put 2-3 drops of dilute iodine solution on it. So you will take a potato, so you will cut it, and you are going to, if it is cooked one, you will take some food and you will add the dilute solution. How you will add? You will take the dropper and just put it in the bottle and dropper the dilute solution. Just take it in the dropper and only 2-3 drops of dilute iodine solution you will add it on the food. You will just drop it on the food item. Now after some time, what will happen to the food? Yes, we are going to observe what happens to that food item. Do you know what will happen? Yes, the food will turn blue black color. So, if the food turns blue black color, that means it indicates that it contains starch. It indicates that it contains starch. So children, first we have taken the potato and we have added iodine solution. How many drops? Just 2-3 drops. So what happens to that potato? What happens to that food? It changes its color. So what color did you observe? So we can observe that food turns blue black color. So this indicates the presence of carbohydrates. Now we can repeat this test with other food items. So what are the other food items we have? That is gram flour and nuts. So with the same procedure. So now you will take the gram flour and again add 2-3 drops of iodine solution and wait for some time. So if that also changes its color, that means that gram flour also indicates the presence of starch, but only potato changes its color. So the food we have now, potato, gram flour and some nuts. So nuts also does not change its color and gram flour also does not changes its color. So carbohydrates change its color. So it turned into blue black color. So remember, blue black color indicates the presence of starch in the food. So understood? So read here this slide. Test for starch. So have you written in your notebook test for starch? Yes, the food item is starchy food or raw ingredient. As potato we have taken. Second one is dropper. Third one is dilute solution of iodine. And the fourth one is test tube. So observation. The food turns into blue-black, which shows the presence of starch. So this is our first test, children. And next we'll move on to the next one. Next one is test for protein. We are going to conduct the test for protein. Now again, take a small quantity of a food item for testing. If the food you want to test is a solid, you must first need to make it a paste or a powder. So that is why we have already taken, we have kept ready a gram flour. Flour is a powder. Yes, gram flour, atta. We call it as atta. So gram flour. So the food item is ready. Now again take the test tube. Put some of this gram flour in the test tube. And now add 10 drops of water to it and shake the test tube well so that the water and the gram flour get mixed up properly evenly. So take the test tube, add some gram flour and put 10 drops of water and shake. So now what happens? What should we add now? Yes, now you have the dropper. Mm. Now, using a dropper, add only 2 drops of solution of copper sulfate. Yes, you now iodine solution is over. Now we are going to test with copper sulfate. So now take 2 drops of copper sulfate solution and 10 drops of caustic soda. 2 drops of 2 drops of copper sulfate solution and 10 drops of caustic soda. Now you will add it in the test tube where you have the gram flour. You have mixed the gram flour in the water, it's already ready. Just add these solutions in the test tube and again shake well. So you all are very expert in shaking. Shake. Yes. Shake well and let the test tube stand for a few minutes. So when you're shaking, so it must be mixing and just hold it till it stands still for a few minutes and observe. Keep your eyes on the test tube and observe. So what happens? So can you tell me what will happen when we add some solution to it? So what will happen, children? Did the contents of the test tube turns into some other color or same blue black color? Yes, this time the food turned into which color? A violet color. A violet color. So this violet color indicates the presence of proteins in the food item. So if the food item changes into blue black color, so it indicates that it is carbohydrates. If the food items turns into violet color, it indicates the presence of proteins in the food item. Yes. So children, now you can repeat this test on other food items. Same procedure and observe if any changes are there in the color. Yes. Now we can also do this test with milk, groundnuts, then uncooked powdered rice, that is rice ka atta, then cooked rice, then dry coconut, then tur dal powder, that is raw one. So we can conduct when our school reopens, we will bring all this and will conduct the test. So what are the things you will bring, children? Raw potato, some gram flour, then some nuts, then then milk, groundnuts, then uncooked rice powder and cooked rice also, and dry coconut and some tur dal powder. So we are going to conduct these tests. Now quickly in your notebook put question 2 and write test for protein. So the things required, that is apparatus requires, are pulses flour. Yes, then dropper, then test tube, then dilute solution of copper sulfate, then caustic soda. So what Did we observe? So we observed that food turns into violet color, which shows the presence of food. Now, um, one more test is remaining, children. We finished test for carbohydrates, test for proteins, and the remaining one is test for starch. So test for carbohydrates, the will change the color into blue black, and for protein violet. And now let's begin with the test for starch. Now in your notebook write question 3 and write test for starch. Sorry, test for fats. Yes. Now again you will take a small quantity of a food item. Now this time you're not going to add in the test tube. Now this time you're not going to add in the test tube. So you will take a paper, a good paper. So take some small quantity of food item. So place the food item in the paper and wrap the paper. So wrap the piece of paper and crush it nicely. Press it and crush it. So the food item is inside that paper. So you fold the paper, wrap it nicely and crush it with your full strength. Don't tear the paper. You have to be very careful also. So without tearing, little softness. So you will crush the paper. And then what you will do is, so we should take care not to tear it, right? Yes, all right. So now place the paper on the table. Now very slowly open the paper and observe what happens to that crushed food. You crushed that food, right? Now observe what happens to that crushed food. What will happen? So you have to observe it very carefully. Now we can observe that an oily patch in that paper. Some oily patches in that paper. Now remove those food items and hold the paper in your hand, and where the light is there, so keep it here like this and observe the light. Look at the light through that oil patches. So hold the paper against the light. So are you able to see the light, blurred light through this patch? Yes, we can see the blurred light through this patch. So this oil patch on this paper shows that food contains the fat. Food contains fat. So the food items may sometimes contain a little water also. Therefore, after you have rubbed that any food item on paper, let the paper dry for some time. Let the paper dry for a while. You're going to place the food and wrap the paper and crush it nicely. Then open it. Then remove the food items. Now keep the paper rest for a while so that some water must have been absorbed in that paper and it will be dried. Then that you take the paper and observe what happened to that paper. You will find the oily patches. So children, the food items contain a little water also. So you should not get confused that presence of water also indicates the presence of fat. No. So water will dry and oil will not dry. So therefore, after if you have rubbed, so let it dry. If there is any water, that must have come from that food. So it will dry up after some time. if no oily patches shows after this, then that means the food item does not contain any fats. So understood, children? So what do these tests show? Are fats, proteins and starch present in all the food items that we have tested. So now you will take the in your book put test question 3 test for fats. So here you need food items, cashew nuts, piece of paper. Then observation is oil patch on paper indicates the presence of fats. So does a food item contain more than one nutrient? So do you find any food item that does not contain any other nutrients? So we have tested for three items to conduct the test for presence of fats, starch and proteins. So quickly copy down this, children. So presence of starch, the food will turn into blue black color. Then the second test for proteins, the food will turn into changes its color. Yes, it will turn into violet color. And the third test for fats is you have to just crush the paper and you will find some oil patches in that paper. So this test confirms that presence of these nutrients, that is carbohydrates, proteins and fats. So we tested these food items. There are some more nutrients. There are also other nutrients as we learned. What are the other nutrients? Yes, vitamins and minerals that are present in the different food items. So why do we need all these nutrients, children? Yes, in the next chapter, we are going to learn what do various nutrients do to our body. So in this session, we learn to conduct the test of some food items to detect that presence of nutrients, their components, which components are present in that food. So by the changes of the color, we learned the presence of carbohydrates, that is starch, proteins and fats. So in the next session, we will learn what do various nutrients do to our body. Why we are eating variety of meals to get so many nutrients. So what do these nutrients do to our body? Why are we eating every day, every time? Just to remain healthy? Yes, of course, to remain healthy. So in the next session, we will discuss what do these nutrients do to our body. Until then, stay home, watch the video. Link is given. Write the answers, solve the assignment, do the home assignment and submit in the online. Until then, bye bye. See you in the next session. Take care.